Hello, in this video, we will see what happens to phospholipids in water. This will help us understand the structure of cell membrane. Let's get started. First, let's quickly see the structure of phospholipid molecule. As per the name, it is made up of a phosphate group and fatty acid side chains. The phosphate end is charged or polar, so it's hydrophilic, or in simple words, it wants to stay with water. And fatty acid chain has no charge, so it is hydrophobic, or in simple words, it wants to stay away from the water. This property of phospholipid decides how it interacts with water. So let's sprinkle some phospholipids into the water. Because of the properties that we just discussed, these molecules come on the surface of the water. Here, their phosphate ends stay inside the water because it's hydrophilic. The fatty acid, on the other hand, projects into the air. This way, they stay away from the water. Adding more molecules will result in the same thing till the entire surface is occupied. At this point, there is no space available on the surface. Now, if we add more molecules, they have to stay in the bulk of water. The phosphate group has no problem with this, but the fatty acid chain cannot accept this. It doesn't want to stay in contact with water. So all the molecules do teamwork. They make a sphere in which fatty acids of all the molecules gather at the center. Here each fatty acid is surrounded by other fatty acids. There is no water nearby. This solves their problem. Phosphate ends of all the molecules make the surface of the sphere. Here they come in contact with water, but they are already happy with that. This formation is called micelle. Okay, moving further. Let's add even more molecules. At high concentration, they make a bilayer like a sandwich. Though the formation is different, the purpose is the same. Here also fatty acid chains meet at the center to stay away from the water. And phosphate ends form the surface on both the sides. They prevent fatty acids from coming in contact with water. We are studying all this because the cell membrane is made by this exact interaction between phospholipid and water. Only thing is, this bilayer is a complete sphere. At outer and inner surfaces of this sphere are phosphate groups, and fatty acid chains gather in the middle. In a nutshell, biological membrane is just a chemistry between phospholipid and water. And not only wall of the cell, but wall of intracellular organelles are also made by the same phospholipid bilayer. Taking a larger view can confuse us, but phospholipids are not confused. They want only one thing wherever they are: keep the fatty acid chains away from the water. And in doing so, they form very useful walls of cells and organelles. As a summary, I will repeat that line. Biological membrane is just a chemistry between phospholipid and water. That's it for this video. If you feel this video will help your friends and colleagues, please share it with them too. And don't forget to subscribe because lots more to come. At Nonstop Neuron, learning medical concepts is as easy as watching cartoons. Thanks for watching. See you in next video.